Howdy. This channel is about weather, basically. History. Which is very tightly tied to weather, after all. And I really try to stay on topic and not using rude language, being polite, and stay with the facts. And I hope you respect this. We are talking about nature. Okay? So, back to where we were. Earthquake activity in Denmark. I've done some videos about this place. This particular island. And now it came back into the focus. So we are on Google Earth. There are some interesting things there on that island. Erratic boulders. And I would say peatland as well. And we have to go to this thing here. That's a picture from an airplane of that region. It's maybe not the best picture, but nonetheless a picture. So, here's a link. Vredinger DK. The Ronerne. Infinity is the word that involuntarily appears when you walk out through Roverne's extensive beach meadows on a hot summer day to get a glimpse of the sea just to ascertain when one has reached the countryside. The Rovens which make up the southernmost part of Laeso are green, flat and large, and the landscape is in many ways reminiscent of the marsh areas in the Wadden Sea. The two, however, are of widely differing origins. The tide which has created the marsh has virtually no significance in the Kattegat and thus not for the formation and continued growth of the runners, however you spell that. In the northern Wadden Sea, the tide difference is approx 1.5 meter around Laeso, only 25 to 30 centimeters. Here it is the wind direction and wind speeds that determine how high the water comes up over the salty meadows. Laeso is formed on late glacial deposits of clay, so-called Joldiler. It is located over most of the island, approximately at sea level today. Above these clay layers are subsequently deposited sand from Stone Age sea. And with the help of land uplift, the layers have gradually appeared above sea level. Land uplift. Laeso is believed to have risen for the first time for approximately 5,000 years ago, to later be drowned again by the rising water level in the Stone Age only 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. Laeso is thus entirely an ocean-created island and is not, like most of Denmark, shaped by the glacial movements of the Ice Age. Land formation started on the northern part of the current liaison, but today it is especially in the southern half that new land is created. In other words, the Romans belong to the youngest parts of liaison and have mainly been formed within the last 800 years. In most places on liaison, the land growth has taken place through repeated deposits of coastal parallel embankments. Embankments, okay. But while the beach ramparts in several places on the island can be 1 to 2 meters high and very clear, there are quite faintly marked in the terrain on Ronerne. However, the beach violence pattern can be recognized in many places on Ronerne through the difference in the vegetation of respect the higher and lower lying surfaces. Violence? The reason for the slight beach violence formation is probably that the sea areas south of Liaison are so shallow that the waves do not contain sufficient energy from any significant material transport into position. It will thus be the land uplift that gets the main responsibility for the land development in the southern Liaison. On the other hand, it also has a nice speed of 3 to 5 millimeters per year. Liaison is probably the locality in Denmark that has had the fastest land uplift since the Ice Age. Here we are. And I don't know if that's human-made. Maybe not. So we have earthquakes at that region. We have this rising out of the water. It's rising out of the water. We have the sun cycles. They were talking about 5,000 years or something, which could really well fit with this. And 2 or 3,000 years, which would be in the middle between those two. So the question is, if we have land rising up from the sea, which has a shape like that, and we have even this kind of thing here, we maybe could measure that quickly. 20 meters. Which is really interesting. And I'm just thinking, is that a volcano? Mudvolcano? Any possibility? And again, all blurred out, you cannot see anything. Earthquakes, craters, rising lands, fits very well with the sun cycles and all these kind of things. So let's just check it out if there's any SO2 emissions from that region. Hard to say. Maybe. It's at least windy. They don't seem to be at least strangely related to that island we just watched, which is here. But anyway, it's rising. The land is rising there, and maybe it will just rise quicker. All of a sudden, unprecedented event, never happened before, except 3,000 years, 5,000 years, 12,000 years ago, maybe. But there is something providing SO2 emissions in that region. According to the windy forecast of SO2 emissions, which is somehow funny. How can they predict SO2 emissions? There is something maybe going on after all. Let's see how this develops. There's many things to watch. Much to write still. And thanks for watching. Bye.